Ever found yourself stranded with a car that just won't cooperate? It's a situation most of us can relate to, a moment of sheer inconvenience, if not panic. But what if you could turn that moment around? This video is all about common car problems and how you, yes you, can address them. Understanding the ins and outs of your car is more than just a skill, it's a necessity. It's about knowing when something's off, when that little noise isn't just a car thing, but a possible sign of a bigger issue. It's about being able to troubleshoot, to diagnose, and to fix some of the most common problems that cars throw our way. From that stubborn engine that refuses to cool down, to the tire that seems to have a mind of its own, we've got you covered. Today, we're going to tackle some of these common car problems that you might just be able to fix on your own. The first step to solving any problem is recognizing that there is one. And in the world of car mechanics, this couldn't ring truer. Recognizing common car problems is like understanding a language. Every clunk, hiss, or whir is your car communicating with you, telling you something isn't quite right. Let's start with an overheating engine, a common issue that can cause serious damage if left unchecked. Your car might be telling you it's overheating if you notice the temperature gauge creeping into the red zone, or if steam starts billowing from under the hood. You might even smell something like burning rubber or hot oil. These are all signs that your engine is running too hot, and it's time to pull over and investigate. Next, we have battery problems. If you're having trouble starting your car, or if the electrical components like lights or the radio are acting up, your battery could be to blame. A quick way to test this is to start your car and turn on the headlights. If they're dimmer than usual, you might be dealing with a dying battery. Then there are tire issues. These can sometimes be a bit trickier to spot. Maybe your car is pulling to one side, or the ride feels bumpier than usual, or perhaps you notice a repetitive thump 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 as you drive. These could all be signs of tire trouble, whether it's underinflation, misalignment, or even a puncture. Lastly, let's talk about brake problems. If you're hearing a high-pitched squealing or a grinding noise when you brake, that's a clear sign of trouble. Other symptoms might include a vibration in the brake pedal, or the car pulling to one side when you brake. Remember, these symptoms are just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole world of possible issues your car could have, and the key is learning to recognize these signs and understanding what they mean. It's like learning a new language, and once you're fluent, you'll be able to diagnose and fix a whole host of car problems. Now that we know what to look for, let's dive into how to fix these problems. So, your engine is overheating, what next? The first thing you want to do is to get your vehicle to a safe place and let the engine cool down. Never attempt to open a hot radiator cap, as it can lead to serious burns due to the pressurized hot coolant. Once the engine is cooled, the next step is to check your coolant levels. Open the hood, find the coolant reservoir, it's usually a translucent container, and check the level. If it's low, you've likely found the culprit. However, don't just top it off and call it a day. You'll want to ensure there are no leaks. A puddle of coolant under your car is a dead giveaway, but sometimes the leak isn't so obvious. Check for wet or white-streaked areas around the radiator and hoses. A sweet smell is also a sign of a coolant leak. If you don't find a leak, it's time to consider the thermostat. The thermostat controls the flow of coolant in your engine. If it's stuck closed, the coolant can't circulate, causing your engine to overheat. Unfortunately, diagnosing a bad thermostat isn't as straightforward as checking for leaks. It often involves a process of elimination, but if you've ruled out low coolant and leaks, a faulty thermostat is a likely suspect. Remember, while it's useful to understand and potentially solve overheating issues, working on your vehicle involves some risk. Always prioritize safety. Wear protective gear, use the right tools, and never work on a hot engine. And here's a final tip. Regular maintenance can prevent overheating in the first place. So keep an eye on your coolant levels and replace your coolant as recommended by your vehicle's manufacturer. This can save you a lot of trouble down the road. Remember, safety first. If the problem persists, it's time to call a professional. After all, your vehicle is a complex piece of machinery, and sometimes, the best solution is to get help from those who know it inside and out. A car that won't start can be a real headache. But don't worry, we've all been there, and it's often due to battery problems. Let's delve into some of the ways you can address these issues. Firstly, if you turn the key and your car doesn't start, but you hear a clicking noise, it could be a dead battery. The solution here? Jump-starting the car. You'll need jumper cables and a second vehicle with a working battery. Connect the red cable to the positive terminal of both batteries, then the black cable to the negative terminal of the good battery, and a metal surface on your car. Start the good car, let it run for a few minutes to charge your battery, then try starting your car. Now if your car starts but the engine won't turn over, it could be due to corroded battery terminals. These terminals connect your battery to the electrical system of your car, and corrosion can disrupt this connection. To check for this, look for a white, powdery substance on the battery terminals. If you see it, disconnect the battery. Remember, always remove the negative cable first, and clean the terminals with a mixture of baking soda and water and a toothbrush. If your car still won't start, it might be time to replace the battery. Car batteries typically last between 3 to 5 years, so if yours is within this age range, it could be the culprit. To replace it, you'll first need to disconnect the battery. Again, negative cable first. Then, remove the battery from the holder and replace it with a new one. Connect the positive cable first this time, followed by the negative cable. Remember, safety first. Always wear gloves and safety glasses when working with car batteries. And if you're not comfortable doing these tasks yourself, there's no shame in seeking professional help. And voila, you're back on the road. But what if it's a tire issue? A flat tire can deflate your day, but it doesn't have to. Tire issues are quite common and can often be fixed easily if you know what to look for and how to handle it. So let's dive into the world of tire troubleshooting, puncture repair, and pressure checks. Getting a flat tire can feel like a major inconvenience, but changing a flat tire is a straightforward process. First, you'll need to safely park your car away from traffic, apply the parking brake, and locate your spare tire and tire changing tools. The tools typically include a jack, a lug wrench, and a wheel chock. Then remove the flat tire and replace it with the spare one. Make sure to tighten the lug nuts as securely as possible by hand. Next, let's talk about inspecting for punctures. A tire can lose air slowly over time due to a small puncture, which can be difficult to identify. The best method to find a slow leak is the soapy water test. Spray your tire with soapy water and look for bubbles forming. This will indicate where air is escaping. If you find a puncture, a tire plug kit is a temporary solution that can get you back on the road. Lastly, let's discuss tire pressure. Maintaining the correct tire pressure is essential for your car's fuel efficiency, tire lifespan, and overall safety. You can check the tire pressure using a tire pressure gauge. It's best to do this when the tires are cold, as heat can increase the pressure. The optimal pressure for your tires can be found in your car's manual or on a sticker located on the driver's side door jamb. If your tire is underinflated, use an air compressor to increase the pressure. Conversely, if it's overinflated, you can release some air until it reaches the correct level. Regular checks and adjustments can significantly extend the life of your tires. Remember to keep a spare tire and a tire changing kit handy. Now let's move on to the last common issue. Brake problems can be scary, but understanding them can help keep you safe. Now let's talk about those noisy, unresponsive, or squishy brakes. These are signs of common brake problems. One of the first things to do is check your brake fluid. It's like the blood of your brake system. Low or contaminated brake fluid can cause a myriad of brake issues. If the fluid is low, top it up. If it's dirty, it may be time for a brake fluid flush. Another common issue is brake pad wear. You see, brake pads don't last forever. Over time they wear down, and if left unchecked, can cause damage to your brake rotors. So don't ignore that squeaky sound. It's your car's way of saying, hey, I need some new brake pads here. In the end, understanding and addressing these issues promptly can save you from a costly repair or worse, an accident. And there you have it, some common car problems and how to handle them. So we've tackled some common car problems today. We've dived headfirst into the world of auto mechanics, equipping ourselves with knowledge that can come handy on the road. From learning to identify the signs that something's amiss under the hood, to understanding how to cool down an overheating engine, we've covered quite a lot of ground. We've also discussed how to breathe life back into a dead battery, and the steps to take when faced with tire troubles. Not to forget, we've shed light on how to handle brake problems safely. Each of these issues, while common, can be intimidating if you're unprepared. But remember, knowledge is power. The more you know, the better equipped you are to handle unexpected situations. Remember, while these tips can help you in a pinch, when in doubt, always consult with a professional. Stay safe and happy driving.